And here we are. We're live. Hello, everybody. How are you
Oh,
doing?
fuck.
Yeah, you kind of deserve it after that dry hit. Yeah, that was gross. I thought you did. Anyhow, how is everybody doing? Anxieties are high for me right now and a few other people in the community because of things going on, as well as just this time of year, different things going on. So I wanted to talk a little bit about anxieties, what can cause them. Sometimes you don't know what causes them, but there are still ways to try and lessen them a little bit. One of them we're doing right now. If you're here right now, then you're already doing one. You're socializing, you're interacting, and you're exploring options. That's one of the best things you can do right there. There's those two. So, that being said, before we get too into it, how are you guys doing today? Doing all right?
Doing
How about you,
great.
Larry?
Fantastic. Only
How
work
about
8 hours a day.
only 8 hours? Ah, so it was a good day for you. But that's another thing. Work can definitely be an anxiety causer, especially if you either have a coworker that doesn't do their job or you have a coworker that kind of just decides to quit through text. That can, and you get stuck working alone. That could be a definite stress. One of the things you could do can combat that is you could get yourself a huge oversized pop or a beautiful mod that's customized, which I happen to know someone did. Yeah, you can actually treat yourself every once in a while when you can, and that actually is a big thing. Doesn't always have to be monetary. Treat yourself to sitting down, watching a movie, relaxing, listening to some music, and just take some time for yourself. Try not to think about what's actually bothering you, worry about it. Maybe vent a little can help, but it typically will bring it up before it brings it down. It's kind of like the calm before the storm. It gets a little bad, and then it come down afterwards. That's where I'm at right now. I did a lot of venting earlier. If anybody's in my Discord, they saw it in the vaping section. They saw a little bit of venting because I
A
was,
little bit.
oh yeah, that is a little compared. That wasn't the only place I was venting either. By the way, that was just one of the places I was venting about it. I was on a
Or
tyrant with
fire
it.
up a video game and shoot somebody in the face.
Yes, that is a good option too, if you are feeling anxiety. And I probably am going to do that a little later tonight before we record tonight. Tonight we're also going to be able to talk a little bit
Yeah,
about horror
same here.
movies. So yeah, WWE
Oh
Crown
yeah.
Jewel. Yep. Yeah, and that's just it. And the other thing is try to stand up for what you believe in if there's anxiety. The problem is you also have to think about it. Try to come up with a plan before you start. Don't just react, because if you just react, you're less effective. Like right now, no secret, the vape industry just took a big blow with the final decisions made for the mail order stuff and mail shipping stuff, and it's vague. I mean, technically, the way it's written, you can't even get an inhaler through the mail the way that is written. But they have to enforce what they want or enforce it at all. Are they going to? I guess we'll see. I think it's kind of crazy. You could literally wind up being put in jail right next to the person who's selling crack cocaine. They can probably afford bail because they made some money off it, whereas you didn't make any money off it and wind up spending time in jail right next to them, and maybe even longer. That is insane because it will be a federal offense if they actually enforce that. We're not talking, this isn't a little slap on the wrist that can do some serious damage to your permanent reputation over something that's a harm reduction product. If that doesn't get your blood pumping, not much will. You're a stronger person than I am. So, yeah. Blowing peaches. Um, Thank you guys for being here. And yes, it also time of the year, anxieties. If anyone lives in the northern part of the states, this is a time of year you start getting anxious, trying to make sure you have everything done for winter, prepared, whether or not you have enough money for your heating cost, getting as everything lined up. Snow removal for me as well, and all kinds of stuff like that. The tractor needs to be ready. Winter tires. All these things are anxieties that at this time of year are really, this is the worst. Once this winter hits, it'll be constant work, like removing snow and stuff, but the anxiety is not as bad. It's prepping for that. So for me, the fall is the beginning of my anxiety season, up until we get our first snow, and then it starts to get a little bit better throughout the season. Hey
Heating
Billy, good to see
costs.
you.
That's heating costs. That's why I live in a third floor apartment.
Yeah,
The other two below me heat my fucking place.
that's another thing. Heating costs, period. In if you live in the north, with the price of fuel this year going up again, it gets worse every year, and that's not going to get better. We know this. Whenever you have a bunch of stimulus checks and stuff going out, that affects the economy, and typically the year after election year, you always see prices go up anyway in fuel. You know, people are going to travel for holidays this time of year too. That's extra cost. It's just there's a lot of things that can cause anxieties. For me, there's some anniversaries coming up, so that affect me directly for my anxiety and depression. Yeah, gas or electric, they're all everything's went up here. The cost of our electric has went up significantly over the past few years. And I saw who do we have in here? I saw a Zippy, saw a Mandalorian, an avocado for liberty, as Meter would say, a Lando, a wild Zippy. Speaking of, I've seen a lot of your family lately on the road, and Mallory Gates, and then I saw Billy. Please say I'm saying this right. And Seal. I think that's the correct one I'm trying to say. Uh, that's a tough one because it depends on what pronunciation you go with. Thank you guys for being here, and yes, let's try to be there for one another. The reaching out to people right now is probably going to be more important for this week, this entire weekend through the weekend. Please do your part if you got it in you to reach out to some people and just check and see how they're doing, especially people that are really deep into advocacy because they're going to be affected. Speaking of, Grim Green's going to be on tonight. He's one of them. You know, send him some kind words. You don't really have to ask him about advocacy. Kind words. Remind him to spend some time taking away from the advocacy side of it because right now he's going to jump in headfirst, as many of us are really tempted to do. Again, we're still thinking we know what the regulations they came out with are. We just don't know what's going to be enforced. So we're still in limbo, even if we don't think we're not. We still don't have all the answers. We just have the answers of what they put on paper. So let's hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Can kind of see that little bit of worry there behind your eyes, Lando.
Can you even fucking see my eyes? Gee, I can't.
Matthew Welch got distracted trying to stay busy. Yeah, that helps too. But you don't get so distracted you forget to take time for yourself. I do that. I'll get so absorbed in doing extra jobs and extra work around the house. The next thing I know, I'm not giving myself that time, and the anxiety's still there. If anything, it builds. I'm one of those people that holds on to things. Time doesn't help me until I actually let it out. And there's quite a few people that work in the industry. I know. Sorry, Aaron, I'm going to shout you out, but he's working at the shop now, and he was one of the ones concerned today too. You know, we don't know what's going to do to shops either, because technically speaking, this falls under the shops getting their products. Which, if they can't get their products, how do they get to the consumer? It's going to be an interesting road that we're going to have to go down in here in the U.S. Canada's always soon to follow. I'm sure we'll see even more. They've already got some stuff in the works over there. So please pay attention to your advocacy. And most importantly, because we don't know if they're going to, the federal is going to really back it and check it and enforce it. Check for your local and state government because they are the ones that tend to reflect and they have the resources to police it more and actually enforce it. So make sure they're not doing the same things New Hampshire tried previous to the flavor ban. They tried to actually preemptively reflect what the federal government was said they were going to do back when they had that whole T21 is what it turned into because they had to do something. And I know we're talking a little advocacy tonight, but for many of us here, That is a big factor in anxiety right now. It doesn't have to be advocacy. Whatever is bothering you, there are things you can do to help. One of the most important things is spending time with friends and family, distracting yourself. Gaming's a good option if you're really feeling anxious. If you find a game is making you more anxious, switch games, switch music, same idea. If you feel yourself getting worse, it's time to change things up. How many of us do that though? You get involved in a game, you start playing, and you're getting anxious because maybe, I don't know, things aren't going right, or it feels like the other person's cheating, or there's something wrong with the server and the other person's getting the advantage.
Diablo.
And then yeah, and then next thing you know, you're more anxious than when you started. So it kind of reverse reaction. So that's when you go over and like Larry, go play Hello Kitty online. And
Whoa, whoa,
just
whoa,
kidding, Larry.
whoa! What?
Just kidding, Larry. No, I don't believe Larry plays that. Uh,
Don't confuse
but no,
me with your other half.
I don't believe Larry actually plays that. But no, there are
Is that even
there's
a
always other
thing?
options. Yeah, Hello Kitty online's a real thing. I had a guy
Oh,
that was
how you know this?
because one time I actually you know how you get those people that just drive you nuts, like they're speaking on Xbox, it's playing COD, and I nicknamed him Paint Chips, and I told him to go play Hello Kitty online instead. Next thing you know, this guy's following me around and actually like trying to add me as a friend and everything else. I was literally calling him Paint Chips because of the way he was acting. Like he ate too many paint chips as a kid, and told him to go play Hello Kitty online. And somehow he thought that was great and he loved it. I don't know.
See, me and my one buddy. He'll play COD. We will intentionally put on this pu- leave on the voice chat, and I just go to town on all the little shits because I think it's hilarious.
I got to be careful with that. The last time I actually responded and got into it with somebody, I got banned. Um,
No, the best one was it was some like little kid playing Call of Duty, and his mom heard, and she was just like, "You don't be talking to kids like what the fuck are kids doing on this fucking game? It's rated M for fucking mature, you dumb bitch."
well, that's what confused me is what I got banned for should have been covered under the rated M
Mm-hmm.
because it's using adult language. It's an adult only game.
Well, it's
Why?
not it's not AO. You got to be at least 16 to play it.
Right.
Your little
And
9-year-old little shit shouldn't be playing Call of Duty.
the good news is when I appealed it, I got it reversed, but I had to apologize anyway for my behavior, which is dumb. But they went back in chat and saw what the other person did and what they did to egg me on to say something to them, and they got permabanned. So that worked out better for me. That actually made me laugh because they let me know that they were permabanned. So yeah, it's
See, I'm permaban as a PC player doesn't do a damn thing.
no, as a PC player, no, but they were an Xbox player, so because
Like, oh no, I have to create another email account.
yep. So how is everybody doing? Not just anxieties, depression, any issues? Is anybody going through anything right now? Um,
Yeah, I
anybody, that
don't
includes
have
you.
enough Grogu's.
Yeah, I know. Not a big enough one either. That big one there just isn't taking up any space at all. You see, when life's got you down, spend some green to get a green pop, or two, or seven, or 12,
I'm missing a few of them still.
or a few collecting cards. That's it. That's another thing. Collecting things you enjoy is definitely a really good thing to do to try and help yourself, and then maybe go through your collection, just look at it and stuff every once in a while. I know, Lando, you have a collection of cards. It does the same thing. Anything you can do that brings you into that enjoyment. And there's Lumi. Yeah, no, Lumi, yeah, the anxieties. I get that, Lumi. Your anxieties are so many things can cause it. Uh, job interviews. This is actually there's a long list of people that have been going through job interviews lately that I know. Some of them because of the vape industry and what's happened, so they've had to go and find different jobs, and some of them because it's just that time of year when you can try to switch your jobs. Then it'll be this lull season right around Christmas, and if you don't want a Christmas only job, usually there's not really much going on until January. Yeah, treat yourselves to situations. It is only a temporary helper. But sometimes you need that temporary helper to think clearly to get yourself on track again. So as long as you're not getting excessive with the self treatment, because if you wind up you going like anything in moderation is okay. Oh, don't even bring that up. That's PTSD right there, Lady Liberty. So
The LOM
yeah.
spreadsheets.
Oh, that was terrible. It was for a good cause, but it took me a while last night to not feel nauseous. So yeah, like eating out. It's not a bad thing to treat yourself with, but if you don't do it in moderation, next thing you know, you're not feeling so well because you're eating bad things for your body, and you might not feel as well healthy. It might feel less healthy. But occasionally treating yourself to something like that or having a cheat day, if you need it, you need it. Take that time. Go enjoy yourself. Even people that on extreme keto diets have cheat days every once in a while. Maybe you go into a family get together or something, or going out to your favorite restaurant where they have this one dish that you only have like once every few years or once a year, and they treat themselves to that dessert or whatever it is, or maybe it's the main course, whatever their indulgence is. Like if you have DoorDash available, not available for me out here. Nothing's available for
Haha.
here. I know. It's so weird. You hear all these people that live way back in the sticks and they can get deliveries. There ain't no
Lumi.
yeah, there's no delivery service here at all. And I don't think I'm as far in the sticks as she is. But I'm just out of range of everything. So I don't have that option not to go out. I don't know how everybody's doing with the anxieties of the virus as well. There's still places going through all kinds of lockdown stuff going on with that here and there. It's not over. The Delta variant's out, and people are dealing with that. Shout out to Texas Mama. Her mother's doing very well, but they just had a really bad scare with that. Worried about everybody in the house getting it, with everybody immune compromised.
And then
So,
you have venues doing stupid stuff like you can only come to the show that you bought tickets for 6 months in advance, only if you're fully vaccinated. Well, sick evil fuck that I am, already came up with the scenario which can't stop me from going in there. Okay, I'm fully vaccinated. You can still get COVID, so what stops me from this is a few days before going out intentionally getting it? You can't stop me from going in the venue. Then I potentially disinfected 8,000 in one go.
yeah, that is a possibility. It could really happen. Um, that's another thing that can cause anxiety because there's something we don't know all the answers to, but we know that, for one, the vaccinations don't cover 100%, period. You are not immune if you have it. You can still carry it if you have it. So, how's it a vaccination and not? It's a booster. I'm confused on that, but I'm pretty sure that it would classify as a booster, not a vaccination. Because a vaccination should stop you from being able to get something. A booster helps you to defend yourself against it, your antibodies. So, but that's a science note thing. Something that's been bugging me for a while, but it's true. Now, make your own educated decision on what is best for you and your situation. If you are around people all the time in congested areas, you might want to make a decision based on that. Definitely consider something over the other, but that's always up to you. You should have your own personal choice, especially with things you don't know 100% on how they're going to be. Yeah, you just, yeah, the streets and the mountains, they have to go around. Here, they don't. It's just crazy, Lumi. I mean, If you saw, I'm pretty sure I'm closer to some of these places, but nothing delivers. Not a single thing out here. DoorDash has no availability whatsoever here. I can't get pizza delivery here. Nothing. So, sporting events 50 plus. Yeah, yeah. That's something that was brought up the other day. We can't gather for like parties, and it was still questionable whether or not we can gather for Christmas. This is actually brought up by our politicians. Christmas gatherings are still questionable, and Thanksgiving. But at
Yeah,
the same time,
that's
we have 50 to 80,000 people sitting in the stadium side by side.
um. Let's be honest. Did them really telling us we can't do something really stop us from doing something?
No, but the truth of the matter is that's causing us extra anxiety to worry about these things because people hear these things and you get these little hints. And even if you don't think about it, you rationally know that, bless you, if you rationally
Fuck was
know
that?
that
If you're gonna sneeze, get on fucking screen and do it. Damn.
people know rationally, even if you rationalize it and realize, that doesn't make sense, it still gives you that little bump of anxiety to start off when you first hear, we might not be able to gather for Thanksgiving. It's like, or Christmas time. And you're in your head, you get this little bump of anxiety, but I want to see my family. And it's like, wait a minute, but we can gather from 50 to 80,000 right now in a stadium, but we can't gather to visit with our closest friends and family.
And let's be
Where's the
honest,
logic in what's going on?
politicians. And let's just be honest, politicians are just do as I say, not as I do, because for first thing they're gonna do is have the biggest Christmas parties ever.
Yeah, unfortunately, these all things are these anxiety-ridden things, including the cancel culture on a rise, and I think that's from boredom. I think honestly, my theory on that is we're getting more cancel culture because people are bored. They're sitting in their homes doing nothing but able to be on social media and just finding things to keep themselves busy and going after different cancel culture situations. But that's anxiety ridden. If you see some like going after cartoons that have been around, they're classic cartoons that have been around for 50, 75 years, and all of a sudden we have to put warning labels on it or even
Well,
try to
let's be
cancel
honest,
them. It's like,
that's nothing new.
no, but the fact,
They were going after Looney Tunes when I was a kid because it's the most violent show on TV, which
true,
it is.
it
Let's
is.
be honest.
Let's be honest, Foghorn Leghorn was cancel cultured. You don't see him anymore. But there is a pretty good reason for that. To be honest, there is a little bit of there's a realism to that. But rather than cancel culture it, just make up your own decisions on whether or not you or your children should watch it. You know, it's we shouldn't stop everybody from doing something because somebody has an opinion on something. Same with letting literally countless people die from cancer or lung illnesses or other illnesses from that because we want to stop a kid from having access to something that's actually better than the other things they already have access to that they might try. That's there's no logic there, and I'm trying to figure out how do we get people to listen to logic when the media is telling them the opposite. It's the media that's the issue. But if we can figure out that and I mean crack that code, please let us know because everyone here could benefit from that. Trying to figure out how to
Well,
get through that.
that's because at one point, P, media wasn't making up shit as they went.
No, I remember when the news used to have to be reliable, and
Yeah,
they were critiqued on that. If they weren't reliable and didn't give the actual news if
yeah,
something's wrong, they'd point it out to each other and like run them on the other media outlets
yeah.
through the mud.
Now it's just about being first, whether your facts are right or not.
Yeah, it's just about who gets the better story, and then I gotta make a better story than you, and the next thing you know, you're watching media that makes zero sense to the logic. There's no logic, none to it. It's
We're
just
reporting
hearsay.
on stuff when the facts aren't even out yet.
Yeah, and unfortunately, creating anxieties. Um, You've
That's
seen
why
some
I
of the
learned.
actual violence that's happened recently was because the media kept pushing it. You could see it coming. You knew that was coming. Like
Oh yeah.
when you had those riots, the media pushed
To
them
be
riots to
honest, they
happen.
were peace. They were peaceful protests.
Yep.
But entire neighborhoods were burnt and looted. But it was peace. It was peaceful.
And I'm
That's
not
why
trying
I
to
learned.
add anxiety by this, but please let yourself realize that the media is
This
not
is why I learned a
100%.
valuable lesson years ago. Don't watch the news.
Well, some people like to watch the news still.
One, why
I'm not
would
one
you
of them
watch?
either.
Why would you willingly want to watch the most depressing thing on TV next to country music,
Don't get into
which
that. We'll
has
have
been
some kind of
proven?
argument about country music.
It's been proven that country music is more suicidal than any other
Excuse you?
See,
genre.
there we go. There we go. It's already started.
It even
We
beats
got
the blues. Come on.
and the cancel culture with the cartoons thing. You're right. Looney Tunes kind of did get sort of cancel cultured. They did, but we're seeing it
They've been
happen
trying to
again,
get
and they're
rid of
going
that
after
for decades.
they're going after all kinds of things for so strange reasons. I know it might just be me. You can tell me it's just me, but that Mr. Potato Head thing seems crazy. It's
Thing
a
is, though,
toy you can change the gender by changing the parts. They came out with a Mrs. Potato Head during Toy Story, so there's two of them. But yet somehow this isn't a gender neutral thing because there's Mr. Potato Head in the name. What? It's had that name since it was actually a potato that they put parts in back in like the 30s or 40s, the last century. It's been almost 100 years of this thing, and now it's a problem because it has a Mr. and Mrs. People still get married. They're still Mr. or Mrs. Right? Yep, I think so. I don't quite understand that. So for me, that cancel culture seems like someone's just fishing for something, and for some reason they thought, oh, this is a big news story because it's interesting. Let's throw it out there. If it wasn't for the media, that wouldn't even been a thing. That would have been someone saying something probably as a joke, and it just left there. Nope, media made it something. So please take a deep breath after you watch the news. If you
now
don't
I
think it feels right, just
completely
let it go.
now I completely understand having having a having anxiety over any adaptation made by Netflix.
If,
I understand
especially,
that.
yeah, there's been
Let's
a
see
few
here. There
doozies.
was there was Death Note was horrible. Um He-Man, She-Ra. Think they attempted Thundercats at one point. That didn't get far. Like out of all their adaptations of old stuff and games, they've only had one hit.
Why are we remaking
Witcher.
stuff instead of making something new? Do we not have the technology to make and the brain power to make new series, something completely new, rather than just revamping the same old things over and over again? We're seeing that in our horror movie podcast. How many how many redos have they made of different things? And most of the time, the redos are not as good as the original because, for one, cancel culture would shut them down if they tried to do what they did originally. Yes, you could do the CGI parts better. Could. They'd fail on that too, don't they, Lando? We've seen some
Oh,
CGI that's
most
modern
of the
that's just
time,
terrible.
CGI in horror films is god awful. Let's just be honest. Like Chucky
Kill
worked.
Killjoy. Um, that CGI
Like
was god awful.
that's why I have zero faith if they ever get around to doing the Gremlins reboot. They've already said the Mogwais and the Gremlins will be CG.
They
Why?
were perfect the way they were done. The animatronics they used at that time are about as realistic as you're gonna get.
The
No CGI is
Furby
gonna cover that.
and the
Addy Tooney.
Furby was excellent. The Gizmo Furby was
Yep.
excellent.
We do not talk about that movie in this house. Yeah. She hated that movie too, Lando. It wasn't just us. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think just about everybody hated that fucking thing.
that was. I don't know. There's some movies but here's the thing. This is a classic example that Killjoy series, right? We saw how terrible the first one was, right, Lando?
Mm-hmm.
How many more times did they remake that and make more of those? And why?
Like
I gotta ask why.
three, maybe four more.
Yeah.
I can't
Why?
remember how many,
When you
but
already have a, let's say you're trying to sell a product, you're trying to sell a car, and you have this car that won't stay together, keeps breaking apart, looks like crap, no one buys it. You literally sell none out of the entire thing. Why would you make a second version of that car without upgrading? You wouldn't, right? So why would you make four movies of the same movie that sucked in the first place? This is what we do now. Or we remake something that was absolutely great. Oh, we can do better, and it typically is not better because it doesn't have that feeling.
Ghostbusters 2016.
Yep, and that's the other thing. They did it there. Maybe not. It wasn't 100% intentional. It's also because they want to change it up, but changing it to be something new because of the cancel culture thing. I making sure everything's politically correct, that everybody's involved, and sometimes that changes the dynamic of the movie to the point where it's not as good. So you can't remake it if you're going to remake it in that mold and have it be the same movie. So why not make a new movie that's fits the lines? Write a new script, write a new movie, make one that's actually entertaining instead of just rebooting the old ones and changing them up and making them worse. This is the day and age we live in. Addie, yeah, there's something too. If you're feeling kind of down, yeah, click that link right there that Addie just put there for Michelle and everybody for the Folk Fest. That's actually live
Now,
music.
Mallory, I will give Ghostbusters Afterlife a fair shake because it's technically Ghostbusters 3.
True. Yes.
I will give that one a fair shot.
Yeah, and as you're continuing, I'll give them some credit for like the Connors, the Roseanne reboot and things like that. It's kind of weird why they bring back movies that have been it's TV series that have been gone for 20, 30 years, but at least it's a continuation, just picking up now like you just weren't watching for a while, versus rewriting it and throwing in new actors to do the same exact thing they did before, only not as good.
And your
So
CGI looked worse than a video game from the 1980s.
yeah, it'll look worse than the CGI in Doom with The Rock, which was pretty bad, by the way, when he goes up those stairs. It was pretty terrible.
Bad? How about just The Rock in The Scorpion King?
Oh yes, that was pretty bad.
No, it
Yeah,
wasn't The
or
Scorpion King.
or
It
the
was
Rock,
Mummy 3.
the Mummy 3, when he was the Scorpion King, came back as part Scorpion. That
Yeah.
CGI was magnificently
Horrible.
terrible. Yes. Uh, they could do better. They had the technology to do things. I feel like they did the same thing. Quite a few of us are Star Wars fans. If you can't tell by Larry's name, he might know a couple Star Wars movies. The CGI
Nah, I
clips
don't.
they added to the old movies, those CGI clips, like the
There's just
city.
one that just looked really bad. Let's just be fair. And the special edition, there's only really one that looked bad,
Yeah,
and
the
that
one
was
where
Jabba.
I don't know. I thought the city looked pretty bad too. It was all blocky and grainy, and it just didn't look right. I just watched it the other day.
Well,
Um,
they well for like Cloud City, they were working off of such degraded original film that
yeah,
was expected.
but they could have just like left it original. It was good. You didn't that extra scene. It wasn't enough added to the outside part to have everything flying around
Yeah.
to make it worthwhile to put in like barely
Like
above
I
eight
kind of
bit
enjoyed
3D.
the shots of when they went into like Mos Eisley in Cloud City. I kind of enjoyed those
Oh,
because before it was just a quick shot. You actually
see,
got to see that like, hey, these places are actually kind of important.
they are. Um, I guess for me, it was maybe I played a lot of Star Wars Galaxies, so I got to see the cities and stuff in that, and it did it in good detail all the time. And you see that CGI, and that CGI was worse than the video games that were out at the time. It's like you could have at least went to that quality, that level
Well, that
quality
and
to the video.
at least with like the Ajaba and Han scene, George Lucas kept updating that as they got the Jabba model better. He kept changing it
How I haven't seen one of those in a long time, Addy.
because
Was it how tall was it?
you gotta remember in A New Hope they didn't know what Jabba was gonna be, so it's just a big fat guy.
Yep.
So they had to literally go and make it look like Han was walking over his tail. Like there was a lot of CG work that went into that scene, but at first it just didn't work.
See, for some of us, these reboots are anxiety ridden. They do hit one every once in a while. It's not so bad. I find a lot of the book movies will irritate someone if they really read the books. I know the Aragon movie was it probably if I'd never read the books, it wasn't a terrible movie. But if you've read the books, it was such a disaster. They took out so much you can't even have a sequel because what happened in the books to create the sequel didn't happen in the movie.
I have a better example, sir. Last Airbender.
Oh no, that was my other example I was gonna go with too. Yep.
Like, how do you cram an entire what they call the first book in like an hour and a half film? I mean, I get it. You have to cut content to do it. They cut a lot of important content.
It was a lot. There was that was just butchered again. If you hadn't watched the series, you'd be like, okay, this isn't bad. But if you, it's
No,
the
even if you
sacrilegious things.
didn't watch the series, it was a bad movie.
Yeah, because there was still some parts that didn't make sense. We knew because we'd watched the series, but because of the movie, it didn't go into detail. It's like, so why did that person do that? We know, but it doesn't show it. So yeah,
No,
like
like I have friends that never watched Avatar, and they're like, that movie was dog shit.
so. Maybe enjoy your older favorites, not watch a new one if you're trying to bring down your anxieties. Watch something you know you like instead of a remake. Remakes can
The
bring your
sequel
anxieties
trilogy,
up.
just don't watch it.
Yep, sequels trilogies typically aren't as good. It's like right now, I know that I'm gonna have an anxiety situation the next time I watch a Halloween movie because of what happens at the end of the second one. Not saying what it is, but
Oh, I don't
because
care about spoilers.
no, it's for the podcast because
Oh,
that's what we're recording tonight. But the end of the second movie and then the beginning of the third, they literally had to flub it because of what happened
are you
at the
talking about
end.
the original three? The
Virgin,
original first three?
yeah, yeah. The end of the second one, I just watched it
Well,
yesterday.
here's how I look at it. I never, even when I was a kid, I was like, Halloween stops at two.
Yep, it does. That is the way it was made
Like, that
originally.
is one night done. Lori should never have been the sister at all. That makes no goddamn sense. That's why I liked the 2018. They got rid of that. They're just like, she's the one that got away and he's pissed. And she's pissed because he's still alive.
And Lando, we did good. For a forecast of this next episode, we picked the right ones. Because again, what Lando just said, what Larry just said, sorry, not Lando, what Larry just said was exactly right. The end of the second movie was the end of the series. Everything after that was made to appease people and try to make more money grabs. The first
Yeah,
two
because
were original.
I believe 2 was the last one until H2O that Craven had anything to do with. Not Craven. Carpenter had anything
Carpenter.
to do with until the 2016.
Yeah, I think he refused to because of the end that the second one was supposed to be. He was really into trying to make things streamlined.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll talk more about that tonight, Lando. But yeah, give a little foreshadow to the podcast that's coming up this weekend. It'll be a fun one. Good one to tune into. But we got, anything that can bring your anxieties down. Watch yourself an old good movie. This time of year, right now, you got a couple weeks left. If you're into Halloween, watch a good whole Halloween movie. You're taking a chance of Russian roulette to watch one of the new ones. I'll be honest. Always are. Especially a reboot. But there's some good old ones that you might still love. Be careful, though. If it's one you have a fond memory of, there are many times I go back and watch them again. And Lando and I had this happen with a podcast. Watching an old one that we remembered fondly and then watch it again. It's like, why did I like that? And kind of ruin it for yourself. So be careful. If it's a truly fond memory that you haven't watched in a long time,
Yeah.
think about it. It can actually make your anxieties and depressions worse.
Like,
I know it
I
sounds
will
crazy.
always go back and watch the Exorcist. I don't care. Like, that's the horror that I like. I like the kind that makes you fucking think.
Yep.
Don't give me a gore fest. I'll fall asleep during that.
I see a difference in opinion here on the panel. I saw the look on Lando's face. He's like, give me gore.
Like, I don't mind the gore if it makes sense for the story. Like Texas Chainsaw. The gore works. But
It's
like,
kind of necessary. You wouldn't be able to make that movie without it and make it
just
decent.
most horror films today are just gore fest for gore fest. Like,
The
whatever
Omen.
happened to make you think about it, that's 5 times worse. Because the shit that you can come up with in your own head, think about it, that's 5 times worse.
Speaking of anxieties, I have to ask some certain person here on the panel that just showed up. How anxiety ridden is it to pack up and move halfway across the country? Gotta ask this question because I gotta know. I don't know if I could actually do it.
Well, considering the nature of why it happened, it's extremely bad. Like, it's bad. Like, bad. Like, I want to be an alcoholic bad.
But yeah, definitely that changes. Getting used to a new life, a new place. It's a lot. It's good to see you, though. It's the first time I've seen you on camera since the move. So,
Yeah.
how's life being a New Yorker? Gotta ask.
New York.
It's New York. You like the cooler weather?
Yeah, that's a huge plus.
It's not a million degrees in the afternoon.
Or in the morning.
Yeah, all day, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was finally starting to cool down, like just a little bit when I was leaving. But nonetheless, showing up to work and it being 85 in the morning already at like 3 in the morning sucks. It's trash, bro.
Yeah, these like 40, 50-degree nights. They got to be weird.
Dude, it's supposed to be 39 by Monday.
Yep. It's getting that time of year, but that's a positive for you. You have some positive. The weather change, you didn't like the heat. So this actually
No.
should be a really big positive for you. You never actually got to see the season changes fully either, did you?
Wait, there's
Down there?
season changes?
You didn't notice the leaves? No, there isn't. There isn't in Arizona, right?
No. Not really, no. On the way up here, though, it wasn't. There was still a lot of green. A lot of the leaves hadn't changed over just yet.
Yeah, it's
Give
about
it a
that
week.
time. Yeah, give it a week up here, and it'll change. Everything changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's still a lot of green here, but like the older maples are starting to change.
Yep.
But the younger ones are done and half gone already.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, my burning bushes. I have burning bushes out there by the storefront for the hedges, and those are bright red right now. They're all bright red.
Yeah.
So it's the colors are out there right now. That's another thing. If someone loves the colors in the fall and they haven't got out and done it in a while, and I'm guilty of this. There have been many falls I don't even think about it, and then once in a while I try to make sure I look out the window and say, oh yeah, it's fall, because you get so used to that monotonous drive that you don't always look out your window to pay attention to nature outside, and sometimes that's soothing, relaxing.
Yeah.
If you're taking a long trip like Duchess just did, I'm sure you had lots of things to look at on the way. It's quite a ways.
Yeah. It was a long way, bro.
My last count with you that you weren't even there yet. You were a ways away, and you had 2,100 miles already.
Yeah, that was when I was in Ohio.
Yeah,
Mine
Add
math works.
another probably like 250 miles on.
yeah. So nearly 2,500 miles just to get one way to someplace. That's quite a trip.
Yeah. It's also why I'm trying not to drive my car right now until after the 29th when I take it to Chevy.
Take it in, get an oil change and everything.
Yeah, oil change, make sure the transmission's still good, etc. Blah blah blah. Make sure there's no other like damage to the car from any stress that I may have put on it.
Yeah, and sometimes if things aren't going well and you have an option and you take it as a sign, you'd been talking about moving to the Northeast for a long time. Things happen, you're like, time to do it. That's actually one way to look at it, to kind of reset everything too, though.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was. I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, it's kind of a blessing itself, but unfortunately, it had to be the only way to get that blessing was to go through a negative situation, multiple negative situations, to be honest.
Yeah, that's
I'll tell you about the other one in text message later.
the twisting of fate that you had go on there to get you here up in this area was not a blessing. But I think in the end, eventually, once things settle down, I think it's good for you. But
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, it was unfortunate. It was forced upon you. You didn't do it in your own manner, in your own time when you planned.
Right. I mean, I was still planning on doing it, but I wasn't planning on doing it for another 9 months.
You rolled with the punches. You went with it, and you did what you were planning on doing anyway, and move things positively forward. I think that's something we could all learn from.
Yeah.
And if you want to see something beautiful, because you're also a Star Wars fan, I know Lando isn't. Sorry, Lando, but you should see what Mandalorian has there. He just got in the mail.
Oh,
Want to
what,
give us a
mod?
little show of it? Yeah. Look at this
That's the
gorgeous
one
thing.
side.
Look at that gorgeous
Then we
thing.
got-
That's cool.
I don't know. I just kind of loved it. So, anything new happening? Well, I already know there's a lot going on new for you, Duchess.
Yeah,
Does
there
anybody
is.
else have anything new happening that's a positive in their life? I mean, it's always good to hear the positive things that are happening. Um, I know Mallory can tell you her sports team won last week. I can't tell you that, but she can. So,
I already came to terms that mine's probably going to be the first NFL team to go 0-17.
oh joy! You see, I lost. My team lost to the Titans. So, boo.
Yeah, but see, I'm a lifelong Detroit fan, so
Yeah, I'm a
Oh, the
lifelong
Buffalo
Bills man.
Bills.
Bills for me. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to football camp with the Bills back when Bruce Smith was their
I
middle
mean,
linebacker.
yeah, it was only 3 points though, so it's not like a huge loss.
No, it was actually a really good game. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched the highlights of it, but it was like that was a nail biter. That would have been a good one. I wish I had watched it live. I actually, but the thing was, if they'd won, I didn't want to sit there and say something to Derek because Derek's a Titan fan. If they lost, I didn't want Derek to be able to point stuff out. But it turned out it was actually such a good game. It didn't matter anyways. Actually, you know. And I know that we don't. I mean, I don't even watch that much football anymore like I used to. But you know, if you can
I don't
get
want
yourself back
I
into
don't
that
watch
kind of.
football at all.
No, I haven't watched a game since the Super Bowl at the shop a few years ago. That's it. So that tells you how really into it I am. Mallory and Derek have done their part of getting me to watch some again. So yeah, thanks guys. Don't get me back into it too much. I don't have the time for that. I don't know. I've just been worried about everybody, how they're doing. I know that I've seen some anxiety, seen some depression, seen some seasonal depression. Something that Duchess really didn't have to deal much with unless he was seasonally depressed with summer. In that case, he dealt with that 24/7, 365 a year in Arizona.
Yeah,
So now you get to experience all the seasons and what they do to you.
right.
That'll be a change.
Yeah, it was weird because it was like it was it was cold on Monday, and then it warmed up yesterday and Tuesday, and then it was nice out today, and then it just out of nowhere just downpour rain. So the weather's been a nice change of pace. Like I was messing around with Logan's daughter earlier. She was sitting here playing a game on the computer next to me earlier, and I was like, "Bro, it's so wet outside," and she's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Why is it wet?" And she's like, "Cause it rained," and I was like, "Wait, what's rain?"
Actually, from Arizona, you didn't get a lot. So,
Oh, not at
no.
all.
No, it's kind of. We don't even think about that. Being in the Northeast, we get a lot of rain. We really, truly do in comparison to
Yeah.
other places. Because of everything going on, I mean, you got to travel during a time when you don't see a lot of people traveling. So that was pretty amazing too. I mean, you might have been traveling one way, but got to see some of the family on the way. That must have been nice. Saw a lot of smiles.
Yeah, it was real nice being in Ohio for the couple of days that I got to spend in Ohio.
where at?
That was probably my favorite part of the whole trip.
Where at in Ohio?
Huh?
Where at in Ohio?
Steubenville.
Yeah, he went down to hung out with Steel Valley crew down there for a couple days. That was and everybody that managed to make it there. That's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was
Um,
me and Ryan, Will, Corey, um, and Mike Mimosa was there. Well, I mean, three of them, well, four of them live in Ohio, obviously, right? So DC, Will, Ryan, and Mimosa, they all live in Ohio. But me and Corey, we were the out of staters, and it was just nice to have everyone together and just, you know, have good times and hang out and stuff.
Another thing to do is look forward to the time when things settle down. They're going to eventually. We're going to be able to get together in groups again, and hang out. It hasn't happened, and I mean, Larry got to go to that concert a little while back and got to hang out, and he actually met up with quite a few people he didn't expect to be there. He had a
No, I met up with
handful of
one.
people. It was
I met
just
up
the
with
one.
one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the other one went with you. Never
Yeah.
mind. That's right. But you did meet somebody you did not expect to be there. That's always a pleasant surprise too when you go to something like that big event and someone else is there that you didn't even know was going to be there. So I know Lando and I are the ones that don't really travel much. So it's
I mean, let's
we
be
don't get to
honest.
do
I
that much.
didn't go far. I went like an hour and a half away.
Look, we're lucky if Lando travels to the kitchen, bro. I've never even seen him leave his room.
You're number one. So now Lando goes for walks and stuff.
I know. I just like giving him shit because it's funny.
Yeah. The Bears. Oh God, not the Bears thing. That's gonna be going. Yeah. You know that is a sports team that if you're still a fan, and we do know some people that are fans, Disco, um, that you got to give them credit. This is like it's kind of like the Red Sox when they had the fans from 100-year dry streak, but the Red Sox actually were a big thing. They always had a big following, whereas the Bears, I don't know, they have like a cult following of their own. Ironically, it's like a small cult following. It's interesting. And you see some sports teams where nobody cares. Like nobody cares.
Lions.
Detroit, yeah, they're Detroit. Yeah, that's a very good point out.
Like,
Oh,
it's bad that this week the Lions play the Rams, and I'm actively rooting for the Rams just because of Matt Stafford. The first, and he's the first great Detroit player that actually got out.
and Duchess and I are like, I don't know these names, but okay.
I don't watch sports, ball.
No. 37 years old and counting, Duchess, Matthew says.
Yeah,
So,
he
just,
said that he said the rain in California scares him because we all drive on slicks, which shit ass roads, which is true. Welcome to the fucking West Coast. That's how we do things.
oh, that's something new, too. You're going to need winter tires for the first time ever.
Yeah, I gotta buy new tires. I mean, mine are almost bald anyways. After all that travel and everything else and all the wear that I put on them like previous to that, like I'm I'm not surprised they're not slick already.
So, that said, what time is it? I think it's only 7. Okay, it's not too bad. But we do have Grim Green going to come up soon, so it'll only be here a few more minutes. But I just happy that everybody does seem to be doing okay here. But anybody's out there is dealing with anxiety. There is the Break the Stigma with Discord unit. Break the Stigma with Unity Discord. Said that backwards. You can join that, and it's a place for everybody to get together. If you're having an issue, please speak up. Someone will be there shortly after. It hasn't, the response time in there for just a bunch of people hanging out and watching is really quick. Someone will help you out and talk to you and maybe spend a little time with you. And it tends to have people in there from all hours of the day. Also, we have the Misfits Discord if you're in the UK, because if you're in UK hours, they might not have the same availability, and you can always ask and in the other Discord for the link to that if it's not in there already or you don't know it. So that said, you make sure you're covered for something and don't go through things alone because you think you have to. You're feeling depressed, you're feeling kind of down, and you feel like pushing people away. Quite often that's like the worst time to be alone. It's when you can talk to someone. You don't have to talk about what's going on. Sometimes a distraction, listen to some music, hanging out. Duchess and I have sat and listened to music a few nights. It's been a while, but we've done it. Angela and I used to do that a lot. Just sit in the Discord, go on the music channel, and just jam out for a while. And for the night you know it. Lately, I've been hanging out a lot with Adam. I'm not going to butcher Adam's last name, so, but
Adam who?
hang out with Adam when he plays. Adam, okay, Pilarks. How do you pronounce that last name?
Jesus.
See,
Even I can say it, and I'm
all right.
Retarded.
but hang out with him when he plays his,
Right.
he starts jamming on the guitar. That's, I can't tell you how much that means. That's my favorite thing is hanging out with someone while they're playing live music, especially when they're just jamming like that. You know, if you have that opportunity to do that, take advantage of it.
hailstorm.
Yep. And you know, you can always play some
Or the mud
Hailstorm really loud if Larry's in the room because he loves it. Uh,
Shit.
I'm not a fan of them that much.
no, you either are or you aren't. That's just it. They are that music. This is not
They
a
were
one
the
where
first concert I walked out of.
I don't know. I thought you walked out of another one during this one that was pretty bad live, and I
I
have to
said
agree with
that
you.
was the first one. I didn't say that was the only one.
No, the other one was pretty bad.
Mudvayne was the other one.
In comparison to all the others that you posted little clips of, I will say that was the worst I saw. Because you didn't post a clip of the first one you walked out of. You didn't even post a clip of it. That one there, you posted a clip, and it's like, wow. You could put 5% effort into it. It would have been better. So
Right.
And the sad part was half the crowd left after 2 songs of that one.
Within Temptation is covers on. Yeah, Adam does some awesome cover songs. In fact, I don't have any booted up on there, but I could have played one as an exit tonight because I do have his list. Got some awesome cover music he does. My personal favorite, I think, is still the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cover. Even though it is, according to, and he's right, he's missing all the little like the secondary lyrics, but it's still good. Way better than the original. They should have went with something like that. If they're gonna do a reboot, at least change the song. Upgrade it. Yeah, enjoy yourselves. Have a good time. Go treat yourself. Spend time with your loved ones. Do something. How many of us get involved with the same thing day in, day out? Even if you have someone who lives with you, you tend to watch the same things, do the same things, and you get stuck in that rut. It can, a way you can tell it's affecting you is like, Duchess, you had a period of time there where you didn't feel like building coils, right? You had a little bit of period of time. That's a sign that you're not doing well, and you need to try and figure something out that's going to pull you out of the funk. And you finally did. You did it yourself. So yeah, see, Duchess is kind of more resilient than many of us, and I include myself with that. It took me over a decade to figure out what was going on. I didn't even realize how depressed I was until I started coming out of it. You feel like you're in a fog all the time. There's a good chance you're dealing with depression and you don't even realize it. You think it's only mild, and it might actually be quite severe, and you don't realize it until you start to come out. And usually that'll help if you're being interactive and talking to other people, having a good time, enjoying things. We in the Cool Kids, and the after shows and stuff, quite often it becomes a music discussion. That happens a lot in there. Talking about vinyls and different albums, and it'll just keep on going. It'll kind of spider web, and you'd be surprised some of the albums I forgot I even heard before that came up again. It's like, wow, I haven't heard that in decades. So, it's reminiscing down memory lane can really do a big thing to help your mental state, especially if you can remember a time when you weren't down, when you weren't having that issue. Because if you can relive it somehow, some way, maybe get that vinyl if you have the opportunity, or get it even on a CD, whatever, download. If you play it, it might bring you back there, at least a part of you back to that point, and help you remember what it was like to feel better. You have to have a starting point to grow from. It's always going to take something to start the seed. Don't expect it to happen overnight. It can. It's very, very rare. And there it is. Eddie and the Arsons right there, Adam. That, in fact, yeah. I don't know. Adam doesn't even purposely do it, but just hanging out with him and hearing the live music when he plays the guitar and stuff. It's been helping me a great deal lately, because this is that time of year where I start to get seasonal depression as well. We're getting close to the anniversaries. That's not helping. I've been realizing that I've been thinking about it more and more. I just found out last night my daughter's dealing with some depression issues I'm going to have to talk to her about Didn't know about that. She hasn't talked to me about what it is and what's going on. I don't even know if she knows. It might be seasonal. But I just found that out last night. So that's kind of been laying on my mind, and that's part of my anxiety today, too. And that's something I can't really do anything about. So the best thing I can do is hang out with people that I really care about. And that's what I'm doing here tonight with all of you in chat and all of you here on the panel. Thank you very much for being here. I do appreciate it. Each and every day you help me feel better and to become a better person. So thank you very much for everything you do. Another thing is I want to shout out to Fresh. Hope you're doing well, brother. I saw him in chat yesterday a little bit for a few minutes. That was awful. That was nice. Hope you're doing well. Just keep on doing what you need to do to make yourself feel better and do what you can to get healthy and get back with us. So, I miss you. I'm pretty sure Larry can say the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. It brings me down a little bit to think about the fact that, sometimes we don't get to hang out with the people we usually do. It's just like we're on, Larry and I are part of the Mixers Helping Mixers on Sundays. And sadly, that's on Trucker's channel, and he's no longer with us. But his legacies are living on because we're there trying to do what he always wanted to do, and he did want to continue after he was gone. And that's something that doesn't happen often. You don't always get that opportunity. So when you can, take that opportunity and run with it. If you can help someone continue your legacy for being a positive influence on the community, do it. If you can help in any way, shape, or form. And this community means a lot. Yesterday was one of those examples with the charity stream, the fundraiser. That's things that they don't happen everywhere. This community is the only place I know that truly happens, where people actually care enough about each other consistently to be there for one another in times of need. There's been times I've been down, and each and every one of these people in here right now in the panel, and quite a few of you that have been in chat, have been there on days I've been down and been there for me. And I appreciate that more than you will ever know. It's something that we should always remember to do. It's not something that's always easy to do. Sometimes it's hard to pick yourself up. Sometimes it's hard to pick yourself up to help someone when they're in need because you're feeling down. But quite often, you will walk away feeling better yourself. That's something else that's what the Discord does. You'll see people that had just sat there and kind of like sat on the sidelines, and maybe someone needs help and they realize no one's stepping in right away. You see them step in and help. Next thing you know, they're feeling better. It's been a few that have commented on it that were kind of ghosting. And then when they came out to help somebody, they were honest that they've been helped by just being there and watching some of the good deeds that happen. Yeah, exactly. Out under depression. And Mike helps so many people behind the scenes as well as in front. That love you, Mike. Yeah, I'm trying not to get depressed with it. I bet it is it is a little bit of a tearjerker when you think about the fact that he's no longer with us. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. But it's important to remember what he stood for and remember the best of times. Remember the things, like even when I think of my son, I remember the times I had that were really good. Because those are the ones I have to focus on. You start focusing on the bad times, and that's all you remember. Try to not make yourself go there by trying purposely to remember all the details you can about the best of times with a certain person or with a place, or find your happy place. Think of the best time in your life. When were you the happiest? Does anyone actually know the answer to that? Do any of you guys have an answer? Do you know a specific point in your time where you felt the happiest you ever did?
Before I woke up.
Mine would be when my daughter was born. Was one of the happiest of my time, happiest points in my life. So that, for me, I try to remember as much detail as possible, leaving out the bad parts, the not fun parts. But but the holding her for the first time, that was that was definitely one of the happiest moments of my life. It's hard to believe that she's actually in her 4th year of college right now. That went fast. Doesn't feel like it should be happening yet. So You know, that's a long memory ago, but I try to keep it in my thoughts because that's one of those moments that actually pulls me through when I'm having a rough day. If you have those moments in your life that you can remember a happy time, especially if you can link it to somebody around you that you truly care about, it will help a great deal. With Larry, it's probably when he opened up the mail yesterday and saw that that mail was in that box. That was his most recent happy memory. I guarantee it.
Oh, I knew it was here before I even went to the mail.
Yeah, but when as soon as you open it, I'm sure it was a pretty happy moment. It was like having your first baby, but not. No, that was actually pretty cool. And Duchess is now in a with friends that we consider. I'm sure he considers family at this point, because that's what we do. We're not just friends anymore. This
He's
isn't.
merely an acquaintance.
Oh, oh, Logan's just an acquaintance now.
He's a stepping stone in my way. No, I'm just kidding. That's messed up.
No, Logan's good people. He is, and it's no. That wouldn't have happened in any other community. You wouldn't have moved across the country to stay with somebody that, that you're so close to in any other community. It's kind of an amazing feeling to know that that exists in this world still. I think, well, I don't, I think if you told the average person on the street, they would not believe that something like that can happen. There's Meter. The logo is over Lando's face. Is it really?
Is that a bad thing?
It's not completely over your face. I can still see you. It's because you're leaning sideways. But, yeah, just not that complaining. Peter, you guys are awesome, though. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this family. Each and every one of you I've seen help somebody at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And, Duchess, while we're at it, make sure you tell Logan hi from me. So, make a chance.
Yeah, he can hear you. Yeah, we're on YouTube.
Oh, he's actually there. Do we
Yeah.
have do we have a Logan in the house? No shit. Hey, buddy.
What's up, friends?
How's it having a coil? How's it having a coil maker living in your home?
Dude, it's awful.
Yeah,
Awful, awful.
terrible, right? Considering I haven't made him any coils yet.
Yeah, he did give me coils though.
That's a good way to start. Yeah, Duchess
no,
coils are a
no,
nice.
geez, well, glad to have him here. I give him shit, but it is what it is. I hope everybody's doing well.
Me too. That's what
Hello,
tonight's about.
internet.
Tonight's about anxiety and trying to deal with it. You know, I know we've all went through it.
Just take all of those feelings and bury them deep down inside and bottle them up and never address them.
That sounds like the most terrible advice I've ever heard. But okay.
Yeah, don't ever come to me for advice.
That's what I do.
Lady Liberty, friends in chat, I see you guys. I'm gonna go over here now, and I'm gonna let you guys get back to what you're doing. But much love.
Yeah,
everybody.
I'm about to get off anyway because Nick's gonna be on soon.
I'll catch you guys soon. I'll talk to people in Discord and things like that. So.
Oh, by the way, got stuff for you too, buddy. Don't forget.
What's that?
Oh, apparently he has a gift for you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is it a hug?
No, I guess I'm supposed to go to
That's a
Vermont.
bonus gift. So.
Oh. I will come to wherever you are for one of those hugs. I only got one once.
He's in Vermont.
Yeah, I know. That was a lot of fun, even though the situation was gloomy.
Yeah, I tell everybody
too.
the same thing. Like, DC was cool because I got to meet and see a whole bunch of people, but the reason we were there sucked.
Exactly. It did.
Yeah.
It
Anyways,
did.
I'm gonna let you guys get back to what you're doing. Much love, everybody. Be safe.
FYI, anybody who doesn't know, Logan's knees in your back aren't a problem as much as sitting on the floor beneath everybody. If you don't know, you don't know.
Don't know.
So yeah.
Oh no. Well, now you know.
Yeah, everybody, have a good night. Take care. Take care of yourself. Make sure you take some time to yourself and do what makes you happy. And that time to yourself doesn't have to be alone. Spend it with somebody if you can. If you can get in Zoom and hang out with somebody, do it. If it's just chatting or texting, if that's all you're comfortable with, any type of interaction is better than none when you're feeling down. So Yeah,
Just
let your
like,
anxieties go. And while we're at it, tune into Logan's show Sundays, right? Sundays,
Yeah,
what time?
Sunday on his IG, 9 Eastern. That's 6 p.m. for you losers still on the West Coast.
West Coast and Best Coast.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, they come down every Sunday unless he says otherwise over on Logan's IG, 9 p.m. Eastern. For all your come down goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you might want to, and you're gonna want to tune in this week for those that are curious, because he's never had Boule blah blah blah, Boule
Oh,
Bolu. He's never had Banana Land, so this week he's gonna try Banana Land, and we're gonna open his eyes to the world of possibilities.
Larry, where can people find you if they happen to be looking for you on the interwebs?
Tuesdays on holding down the kitchen with Meter and Tim. Um, Sundays mixers helping mixers. This Sunday is round 2 of the French and fundraiser. Um, that's about it.
Oh, so you're not on any social medias?
Oh yeah. Find me IG if you mix ELRV and VC at the Mandalorian.
Yep. And Lando, where might people find you and what might be coming up?
We got a new episode of the podcast we are recording tonight. We will be reviewing both the first and second Halloween movies, the originals, not Rob Zombies. So you can find me on there. You can find me on IG. That's Lando.715. Join our Discord. And yeah, that's about it for me.
Yep, and Punchy Kickies are later tonight. So that's on there. Meter just dropped that in chat. And yeah, you can find me here on Thursday nights for this stream. You can find me here on Saturday nights for the gaming stream at 9 p.m. And then Mixers Helping Mixers on Sunday with Zippy and Mando. This weekend's a special edition. But and Tuesday nights with Meter and Larry on Holding Down the Kitchen while Fresh is away. It's not our time slot, so point that out there like Meter always does. It's not our time slot. We're just waiting for the wizard to come back. And then you can find me on social medias such as Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as an advocate for liberty, as well as with Lando on What in a Horror podcast every other week. That said, Duchess, you should give some promos at least to the CASA stuff that somebody does and everything. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, if you want to know where you can find me, then you can visit Logan's house, because I'm always there. So come on down to New York. I'm 45 minutes away from Addie, so I'm sure he'll be more than happy to come and join you. No, on a serious note, though.
Sure.
Yeah, so the CASA stuff, before I get into any other personal things. So obviously we've heard that look, if you didn't know that it was coming, then you were living under a rock. I'm just gonna say that right now. But yes, the vape mail ban is a thing, right? Obviously that has gone into to effect, as far as I'm aware. Is that correct? Today it went in.
Issued final guidance on it today, and it should take effect immediately once it goes into the register.
Okay, so once it
consider it in effect.
Okay, so we can consider it into effect, but it's actually official when it goes into the register. Otherwise, we only got 15,000 responses.
The bulk of those came from CASA. Thank you, CASA members.
To USPS. Now, CASA has 250,000 members, all right? 15,000. Think about that number. out of 250,000 CASA members. So I don't know what you guys are doing with the rest of your day, but you probably should have spent it on the internet typing up a testimony.
So I'm
I'm
going
just
to
gonna tell you
interject
that.
really quick. Yes, CASA has like 250,000 plus members right now. USPS received 15,000 comments. About 10,000 of those came directly through CASA's call to action. The other 5 came from other orgs and other folks. Thank you to everybody who did that call to action and who wrote in. USPS waited since April to issue this final guidance because of how many comments they got. But at the end of the day, nothing really ended up changing. It's basically the same thing that we were looking at back in April. And yeah, you can consider it basically in effect. They issued final guidance today. Once it's registered through their whole registration process, it's official, takes effect immediately. We go from there, you guys. But either way, it was a valiant effort, and thank you to all the advocates who worked hard and did those calls to action. Keep doing them, and we go from here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Logan.
If you're not a member of CASA, though, then you can join CASA by
And we're
going.
not friends.
Yeah, then we're not friends, all right, for one. And then 2, if you're not a member of CASA already and you're not helping out with the fight and you want to join in on the fight to protect your right to less harmful vapor products and get off the stinkies, then you can always go to casaa.org. Sorry, I had to say that like Logan used to on the podcast because it's funny. Otherwise, yeah, go join CASA. You guys have the testimonial section, right? There's a testimonial section on their website if you want to give your testimonial. Like, let's say you've been off even 2 weeks, even 2 days. Like, it helps. Your testimonials is what changes minds and wins over hearts of the politicians that are trying to fuck us over. So with that being said, if you want to find me, then you can always find me at Duchess_Coils over on IG. If you decide that you want to partake in any Shed Time, then you can always head over to shedtimepodcast.com, your one-stop shop for all things Shed Time. Otherwise, that's it from me, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic evening. So stay cloudy, vape like royalty.
Yep. And anyone who's not a member of CASA, and even if you're not a part of the vaping community, you can still join and help support someone's right to choose a safer alternative lifestyle versus smoking. I'm pretty sure if you're not a smoker, you don't like the smell of smoke, and if you are a smoker and you want, consider switching over, because most of what's in the media is actually false information. For different various reasons, and if you go to CASA, you can read more about that. All right, love you all. You have a good night, and it's good to see everyone. Grim Green's on just a few minutes, so let anyone sitting over there, I'll see you in chat. Love you all. Have a great night. And I gotta remember where I'm doing this at, because I have dual monitors again. I'm looking down here trying to find it, and it's not there. All right, good night, everybody.